Hello, sports bettors. Today is March 11th, which means that this is the day after sports betting apps went live in Massachusetts. I'm not too far from Massachusetts. I'm in New Hampshire. So yesterday was actually the first day that you could legally bet on sports right from your phone or from your computer in Massachusetts. So this is really, really exciting. And I'm really happy about this development because um, I do use offshore sports books, but I do prefer to use regulated mobile sports books and licensed legalized sports books because I feel like there's less so-called fuckery that goes on with a regulated sports book. Don't get me wrong, a regulated sports book could screw you as well, but it's just less likely to happen than with an offshore sports book where you pretty much have no recourse and you're at the mercy of whatever they say. So I am really, really happy about this. I was in Massachusetts yesterday, but it was early in the morning. It was before 10 a.m. and I believe the sports betting apps went live at 10 a.m. Eastern time yesterday. So I'm going to be doing some traveling today. So I might actually make it down to Massachusetts just to try out the DraftKings app up there because I have DraftKings here in New Hampshire. But I do know that the app is going to be slightly different once I cross the state line into Massachusetts. So I'm going to go down there just to try it out, just to see if I could place some bets and see how it is down there. And I do expect the app to be slightly different in Massachusetts than it is here in New Hampshire, but hopefully I won't have to make a new account. Hopefully it'll just keep using the same account that I have and my same login and everything. But anyway, let's share screen and talk about this new development here. And actually, I'm going to get into the reasons why, because I've talked about this briefly before, where I talked about why is this trend happening about why sports betting is suddenly becoming legal piece by piece, but it is steadily becoming legal in America. And the reason for that, I think, is what a lot of people don't think about. In fact, if you probably ask 20 sports bettors, maybe 19 of them won't even mention this reason because it's not really in the forefront of everyone's mind. It's kind of working in the background. But I'll get to that in a second. First, let me just talk about what are the sports books in Massachusetts. So if you're in Massachusetts, what are the sports books that you can now use legally? Let's share screen. So according to this article here, 6 companies launched online wagering systems Friday, which is yesterday. Barstool, DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, WinBet, and Caesars. And it's a little bit disconcerting for me living here in New Hampshire because one of the reasons why I like living in New Hampshire and why I moved to New Hampshire is because of I really like the live free or die mentality, and I like the fact that we legalized sports betting before Massachusetts did. I think we legalized sports betting a year or two before Massachusetts legalized it. So why is it now, several years later, we only have one sports book that has been approved in New Hampshire, but Massachusetts, in just one day, yesterday, suddenly lapped us, and they have 6 companies that have already registered and licensed to offer sports betting services in Massachusetts. But here in New Hampshire, we're still stuck with just DraftKings, and if we want to use another sports book, we have to either cross state lines or we have to use an offshore book. So I think that the New Hampshire legislature should get their butt in gear and try to fix this. And maybe we could have gotten away with it here in New Hampshire before Mass has a whole bunch of companies now suddenly offering sports betting in Massachusetts. But after yesterday, New Hampshire legislatures, New Hampshire politicians, I'm talking to you. You better get your butt in gear and fix this and allow more competition and allow more companies to offer these services because we can't let Mass show us up like that. All right, so I do have an account with it, BetMGM. But the way BetMGM does it is a little weird. I do believe I have to download a separate app for each state because I believe the one that I have on my phone is from Tennessee, which is kind of weird. DraftKings, for the most part, I don't expect to have to download a separate app. I believe I could just use the same app, but I'll go down to Mass probably today sometime and try out DraftKings down there, and I'll let you know tomorrow. But yeah, here in New Hampshire, DraftKings works just fine, and DraftKings is a good sports book, but we do need more options, especially more legal options. All right, so let's take a look at the sweat station, see how we're doing today. So I've had a lot of ups and downs in the past week or so. I believe last time I spoke with you guys, I had just come off an amazing month in February. We could take a look at February for a brief moment. So February kind of ended with a bang, but then the last day was kind of down. And then March started. I had an amazing first day of March. I couldn't believe how lucky I was. I was up over $1,000 on March 1st, and I thought this was going to be a good omen for how March was going to go. But then the very next day, I actually lost more than I won on the previous day. And this has been my biggest losing day to date. I don't think I've ever lost as much as I lost on March 2nd, which was $1,200. But overall, I was still up for the week only because I had an amazing Monday of that week. So even though for the month of March so far, I'm still negative, I was actually positive for the previous week. And for this week, I actually don't know if I'm positive or negative. Let me check. So for the week, I'm slightly negative, but we still have 2 more days to go. So today, the rest of today, Saturday, and tomorrow. So I may end up being positive on this week. So I don't know yet. Looks like I'm back to being negative on DraftKings. I did have a lot of bad luck on DraftKings. There was like this weird time period over a series of, I think, 2 or 3 days where I lost every single bet on DraftKings. But I mean, it was kind of surprising, but it wasn't really all that surprising because I was betting on a lot of long shot bets. So the fact that I lost all of them wasn't all that surprising. Bovada, Bovada is a 6 sports book. Positive on BetDSI, BetMGM. XBet right now, I'm temporary. I think I'm negative right now, but I don't expect to be negative on XBet for very long. So I'm actually pretty happy with how I'm doing on XBet, even though I'm temporarily down. All right. So right now it's showing that I'm negative today, $129. But I do have a lot of action left. I've only had 6 bets settle so far, 2 wins and 4 losses so far today. But I have 12 live bets and 31 upcoming bets for the rest of the day. So the fact that I'm down right now doesn't really mean much because only a very, very small portion of my bets have actually settled so far today. So today, there's a lot more to go today. So today could be anything. Could be a huge up day, could be a huge down day, could be a wash day. I don't expect this 129 number to stay 129. I do expect it to either go back into the green or possibly even get worse into the red. I don't expect it to stay around here because I have a lot of action today and I expect a lot of swings back and forth, just like how so far this month has been a huge swings back and forth. Yeah, it is a little crazy that I had that big loss day on Thursday of last week, but I was still up for that week just because I had 2 even crazier up days on Monday and Wednesday. But before we sign off, I do want to take a look at the positive EV page, see if we have any bets to place. Hit refresh. Looks like there is a bet to place. So I'm going to stop share temporarily while I place it. Okay, looks like it's not letting me place it. Either the line changed or something, but that happens sometimes when you get a live bet. Sometimes the lines change within a minute, so it's not a big deal. I'll hit refresh to see if anything else pops up besides this bet. Oh, we do have more bets. Yeah, let me try to place these. See if I can do it in time. All right, I was able to place Drew Holiday over 4.5 rebounds, minus 125. Let's see if I can place the other one, which is Brooke Lopez. Over 7.5 rebounds. Okay, the Brooke Lopez line has already changed, so I was not able to place it. It says Brooke Lopez over 7.5 rebounds, minus 110, but the line has already changed to minus 130, which happens sometimes. But that's okay. I think the Drew Holiday bet was an even better one, so I'm real happy I was able to place that. Yeah, this first bet I was able to place. I wasn't able to put $100 on it, but I was able to place it before the line changed. This bet, as I went to place it, the line had already changed to minus 130. So that's how you know it's a good bet, because the line changes before you can place it. So you just have to be quick. And I just hit refresh and nothing else popped up. So before I sign off, I wanted to talk about why this trend is happening. One of the bigger picture reasons um, why gambling is the arguments in favor of legalization of gambling are more and more common, and I believe this is because of Bitcoin. Now, you may surprise me. This may surprise you. You may think that this has nothing to do with Bitcoin. Sports legalization has nothing to do with Bitcoin, because none of these companies take Bitcoin. DraftKings doesn't take Bitcoin. BetMGM doesn't take Bitcoin. Barstool doesn't take Bitcoin. None of the companies that I mentioned take Bitcoin. But in fact, it does matter. Bitcoin is the reason why, because, at least in my opinion, and the reason why is um, because there are so many offshore sports books where people in the United States can easily, using Bitcoin and other crypto, deposit onto those websites and actually bet on sports easily without having to worry about going through a bank or going through another institution or doing some crazy thing about using some sort of a prepaid card or anything like that. They can just easily just send Bitcoin to any website overseas and start placing sports bets within minutes. So because it's so easy to use an offshore sportsbook using Bitcoin, I think that the argument becomes, in most states, even if legislators are hesitant to legalize sports betting in those states, the argument becomes, well, it's not so much about whether you want to allow sports betting in the state, because people who sports bet are going to sports bet anyway. But the argument is, do you want it to be with a legal, regulated app where we can collect tax money from them and actually make money off of the sports betting, or do you want the funds to go to some sketchy website overseas where there is no taxation that is being collected from those companies? So I think that the reason why we're seeing a lot of sports gambling legalization now is it's kind of this effect that is coming from the fact that Bitcoin exists. And there's a lot of these effects that I think are happening in the economy that are kind of understated, that most people don't see. They're kind of these second order, third order effects, where Bitcoin is kind of this invisible thing that is making a lot of these things happen, behind the scenes. And a lot of people don't think about it as the reason why this is happening. But I do believe that Bitcoin is changing the world. And one of the ways that it's doing this is to allow more sports betting to happen. Now, you may think that's a good thing or a bad thing. I say, if you don't know what you're doing, don't gamble on sports. You're going to lose your money. Or you can do it, for fun every now and again. Something that won't lose money, lose too much money. Bet small amounts, $20 at a time. But it is also something that you can do if you are the type of person that likes to find small exploits and make money with them, and you're patient and you're disciplined and you have the right psychology. You can make money with sports betting, and that's what I'm doing right now. And if you are disciplined, you can possibly do the same thing. But unfortunately, a lot of people aren't disciplined, and they probably shouldn't be sports betting at all. Or if they do, they should only be doing it as a hobby or for fun, not to actually make money. But anyway, thank you for listening to my rant. Hopefully, I didn't ramble too much. Subscribe for more, and I will see you guys at the top. Bye.